Welcome back, guys. After that short break, I've now brought in your MVP, Tamron Cardwell, and
Hello.
he's here with me. Super excited to be here. Here with me, and we're both super excited to cast this amazing round 2. We've got quite the doozy lined up for you guys. I know I said it was going to be very, very difficult to follow up the thrilling high-octane gameplay that you just saw, but I think we've got something that's going to try and give the Midnight Kirishima Madness a run for its money. Don't we, Tamron?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got two regional champions, Jose Norono playing Kamui Woods versus Tim Keefe with Jiro. This is going to be insane. This is going to be crazy. Two of the best players in the room, playing two of the best decks, competing for the winner of this gets top 8, which is a slot guaranteed into Worlds.
Yeah, as intense as last round is, right? You just told me a little bit earlier, this is the one that matters.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more right, Tim. Winning this one is going to be what secures you, the top 8 slot. And at that point, that is your free ticket to Worlds with a $250,000 prize pool and just access to everything going on there, all expenses paid. It's going to be crazy, and I don't think there has been more on the line ever in one of these casted games.
I was in the room previous because I wasn't on the stream last.
Right.
And you could cut the tension with a knife. I could see some people ready to vomit because of how much this was, whether they won or lost.
Yeah.
And this is going to be 2, 3, 10 times the amount of stress, strictly due to the fact of, I mean, this is the one. This is
the one. Yeah. I mean, we've had so many regionals finals on stream, but I don't think those just absolutely pale in comparison to this specific round right here.
Correct.
And what's on the line right here.
Absolutely.
Because it's just leagues above anything that we've ever competed for in our game before.
Okay, so we got Jose on Earth Kamui Woods.
Yeah, on the play. On the play.
Earth decks we've seen an absolute ton of here in the tournament today. What are your thoughts on Kamui versus, the big bad Kirishima going into this kind of event? What are your thoughts there?
I think Kamui is a really, really stable, reliable, and safe pick. I mean, obviously Kirishima is too, right? I think Kamui is just a very, very different flavor of it. At the same time, though, there are a lot of matchups where I think I'd rather be Kirishima against a lot of these faster decks. And we do know that Jose sides Kirishima, right?
Correct.
We saw that a whole lot yesterday, much to his dismay, but we saw it a whole lot nonetheless. And I think that it's probably something we'll see him whip out in this matchup. Kamui is really good in those super duper long games when you can craft a stage that's going to allow you to put together like 5, 6, 7 attack strings and stack unbelievable amounts of damage on them, or damage reduction if your opponent's playing a strain deck as well. But against a character like Jiro, this character is so fast, so big, so brutal, so quickly, and I think that I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit scared, honestly, as Jose for Kamui here, or as Kamui for Jose here, because 20 health is not a lot for Jiro.
Absolutely not.
And it's an abysmally low amount.
So I'm going to give you a bit of backstory. So,
Please do.
The entire last round, I was just walking the floor.
Yes.
Watching all the top 32 games. Jose lost his first game in 3 minutes to Ojiro.
Wow.
Yep. Ojiro built, Jose built, Ojiro killed him.
Yeah.
Tim Keefe did the exact same thing to John Stone, playing as
He knew nothing.
Ochako too. Just swing, dead
Yeah.
Ochako. So Tim can OTK this 20 health character.
100%.
But at the same time, as soon as Jose develops this board, can commit for the minus damage, effectively negating the damage pump on Jiro. We have ourselves a game. The question is can Jose get out of this early game and get to mid to late? That's what's
that mid game is super important. Now, double season the advantage plays are going pretty hard here, and the checks are also going pretty hard here. Beautiful lines right now for Jose. Everything really working out for his favor. He's got his own double chivalrous competitor to protect himself from Tim Keefe seizing the advantages as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little less vulnerable, flipping a lot of the really key pieces that are going to help him aggress. Tim's stage still not looking bad, though. Double Destined for mainstream success is like one of those things that just lets you obliterate people on turn 2 as Jiro.
Especially with the build 5 that we saw.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Yeah, Jiro can do an unbelievable amount of things on 5 foundations. So there we have Jose also getting a really nice chunk of poke damage, and 10 damage is no joke whatsoever. I have to imagine, as Tim, we just have some awesome attacks in our hand that we're not wanting to block with.
For sure.
And then Jose building like our Earth's only actual piece of like, I'll call it speed hate, if you will.
Yeah.
High value target defensively being 2 foundations is really big.
So Jose's in the turn with 2 cards in hand, which is not that big of a deal, but like it does say that like the 3rd, 4th, possibly 5th card that Tim plays are now unblockable unless we decide to flip the chivalrous competitor. But that is a double-edged sword because giving Tim the card. But it looks like Tim doesn't have the gas to rock it. We're just gonna build a 4, including an asset, and pass.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, at this point now we have 3 destined from ancient success and the asset on board. I mean, Tim's stage is actually terrifying right now. Tim's stage is horrifying right now. I think we've entered a weird state now where we said Jose has to get out of this early game, find his way into the mid game so he can play his deck as it's intended to. But now Tim Keefe has gleefully entered that mid game with him, building such a terrifying stage, and now we're at the point where Jose now has to navigate out of this mid game and enter a super late game type of stage because Jiro with this level of foundations is going to obliterate you even in the mid game. This is a stage that now is just completely reliant on when does Tim see the good ones and how soon does he find them.
Correct. Yeah, and we're seeing a 3rd season come in.
3rd season, the advantage
one of these
play is
destined
crazy
for mainstream success, exclusively because you know what's scary? 6 hand size Jiro. You know what's scarier? 9 hand size Jiro.
Yep.
9 hand size Jiro that gets to selectively draw the cards that she wants.
Right.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. Very lucky break from Jose. Just trying to
season the advantage,
temper that beast as much as we can.
Yeah, I mean he's that's like the season the advantage is just the card of the weekend, right? Season the advantage has seen so much play, absolutely as much impact and power in one singular card as was prophesized once we all started testing with this bad boy, and it really feels like oftentimes when you're a very debilitating factor of this card can be if both decks are playing it, who sees more copies of it?
Yeah, he's got the headband
more
back,
stage reliant, right? Yeah, who's going to start seasoning away from, and then the apathetic comes down for even more flip power. Ooh. So Jose just showing off a lot of really strong control over his rival stage. The new trading method coming in to pick up the Faith Shield, that's a massive play. That's a massive play. Being able to kind of deny the combo plays of double jab pummel until Tim has a few more cards later in the string. It's going to be really strong. And then
Not to mention, there's like one of the big elements for the air Jiro deck is the biggest, craziest throws, right? Correct. So we just picked up very visible throw hate for the 0 gravity lift. That's massive.
Yeah, it's a huge challenge to Tim to what to do in this. And now if Tim responds with another build as well, he also has to respect Jose's deadlock pressure. That's on the board now, right? That prehensile tail coming down.
Correct. There's that and snack time. Flip any of my foundations, draw 1 card is insane whenever Kamui gets to start stacking a bunch of damage on stuff.
100%. Like we said, once Jose finds this massive board, it's a matter of can we construct that 6, 7, 8 attack turn where we just started to stack immense amounts of damage from all of the Kamui blocks on everything. Especially when Tim's only at 13 life now. Right. Tim's just been eating attacks to the face nonchalantly. Which
swinging it back now, checking a jolt on a jolt in order to put some pressure on Jose, get the game really started here. See what he can do.
Yeah, potentially trying to bait out the Faith Shield right here.
Oh, that would be nice.
It would be very nice. I mean, it's kind of a win-win, right? You know, Jose doesn't want to give it up, but he also doesn't want to take that 1 damage and give Tim the jolt of momentum. Yeah. You don't want those things to happen. Also, says, hey, if you want to double jab pummel me, now you've got to have 2 more moves, right? You got to have 1 more charge, then your double jab.
This is so silly. We saw Apathetic, one of the absolute strongest cards in the entire game, right? I flip my foundation to selectively flip any foundation on your board. Flip a 0 diff and flip basic training because of the deadlock response of after you play any move, get +1 speed, playable while committed. We can't deal with the extra speed that it's not only double basic training and the earphone jacks is going to give. And so very, very funny just to see Apathetic just, hey, that's a 0 diff, but it's the scariest piece on your board.
Yeah, sometimes 0 diffs can be the scariest things on someone's board. You know, it's up to you to identify what that biggest threat to you is and continue to play it out from there.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's all those stats, like not even counting what Jiro is already here doing herself. Jiro is, again, only a few cards of support from set 3, but man, definitely got some of the good ones and didn't necessarily need a lot of help in those departments either.
Right. Second Jolt coming down. This is fantastic. I mean, this is getting +2/+2. 1 speed from both the foundation of the asset and 2 damage from Jiro. He's got to lose 1 because of Kamui.
Ooh, Breaker 2 block
going
is huge,
straight
though.
to the block.
And Breaker 2 block is very, very, very massive, though.
Interesting not to have used Kamui here.
Yeah. Super interesting there, actually.
Yeah, I think that might have a bit of a misplay. Truthfully.
Yeah, might have been an oversight. I mean, at this point, you know, we're still very, very fresh in the day, right? Only going into the second round, but with how much is on the line, you know, it might not be a matter of fatigue and nerves. You have to be able to take into account nerves here. I can't imagine how up to snuff I would be playing were I in these players' positions with everything that's on the line.
For sure.
Double specialist here, the whole triple specialist in totality.
Total.
Yeah, Tim, I mean, that's a very, very good poke turn for Tim. Got a Faith Shield out the way, got at least 1 damage in, got his Jolt set up, built the best defensive pieces in his deck.
No review on Jose's side means we got at least something of use, whether
Something
it's
we
a
wanna stick
defensive
around
piece we
to.
want for next turn, or hopefully some attacks to go in.
Yeah, I think so. The specialist sounds are going to be like what's really, really big here when it comes to Tim actually blocking Jose's strings, because the specialists of sound get to say, I only have 10 foundations, but each of these specialists are like 3 for defensive committal purposes.
Right.
Effectively leveraging like 2, 4, 6 more, right? You're looking at 16 levels of defensive power.
Yeah.
It's
See
going to
the
be a really,
prehensile
really
tail
big
come
equalizer.
in. Get rid of that Jolt momentum. A little, I mean, some of the best words on that card, honestly, are your opponent discards momentum. Specifically when you're fighting an air deck, a specialist of sound air deck that wants a single momentum just to pop off and, you know, find the 19 nice and quick.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the snack time is already kind of enough deadlock pressure on its own at the moment. So the deadlock text on our prehensile tail is a pretty diminishing return at that point, and getting rid of Jolt is a lot juicier.
We are drawing cards on competitor. This might be the turn that Jose says, I'm pushing for it.
We are, yeah. We did just pick up a specialized sound waves though, with our destined for mainstream success. I think so I think what we actually might have really done there with the chivalrous is not necessarily an indicator of like heavily going in, but more so a okay, you just top 2'd with Jiro, you've got a destined on board. If you put an attack on top, I'm gonna make it draw it now, so you can't use your destined and pick it up.
Right.
But Tim had 2 attacks on top, so actually ended up working out for him. In that sense, he was able to draw one with the chivalrous and then destined to pick up the other one.
Oh, this is going to be a huge play.
This is massive, yeah.
Yeah, we've got the momentum, so discarding the momentum with the unflipped 2 foundations is going to be
bring our apathetic back.
Yeah, whether it's like we can bring our apathetic back, we can bring back the chivalrous to draw more cards.
A lot of cards.
There's a ton that we get to so many options that we have. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I mean those specialists of sound that I've been writing home about so hard throughout this turn. Apathetic, gonna just remove another one of them.
Love it. Apathetic and prehensile tail.
Apathetic and Seize the Advantage collectively in any Earth deck is just such a strong package. The ability to just have so much dominion over your rival's stage is really, really unbridled.
Right. Yeah. And the 3 moves that we got smacked with earlier in the game, that prehensile tail is just going to add back to our hand, right? So this card said discard a momentum to essentially add a momentum to our hand with prehensile tail. This is going to be a huge
flip
swing
one of your things,
Jose.
right? Yeah. Your other basic training, your other piece of deadlock pressure.
Yeah.
Even better than the specialist of sound. I don't have to worry about your deadlock threats anymore. Slowly picking them apart one by one.
Love this.
That's actually something that like the air symbol really did get in set 3. Is some of the craziest deadlocks in the game. Going into deadlock against air is one of the hardest things to do now. It's one of the symbols I actively have to be very aware of how I go into against, because things like basic training and cool and tough and successful results are really insane cards.
Yeah.
And good cards on their own, but some of the best deadlocks in the game on just assorted spams, right? And we see another specialist of sound on top.
That's huge.
That is actually
checking
huge.
it too. Getting rid of the home run comment out of Tim's hand. Jose smells blood. Jose smells blood for sure.
Oh, certainly does. He certainly does. Our even if you block this one, our combos are going to start racking up. 13 will not be very difficult to find, especially if this one can go through. I mean, Tim is committed out at this point. This is the last move we can block this turn. potentially, right?
Yeah, this is an 8 damage move. I don't think we get to block this one, honestly. We've got 2 cards in our card pool. We've got snack time for to discard for +1 speed,
Right.
as well as EX2, EX2 on the card.
If we EX2, it's not
back to
happening.
where it is.
If we EX2, it is not blockable.
We'd have to have, I mean, we have 4, 5, 6. We'd have to have a 0 block.
Yeah.
We out of gas? No way, right? Okay. We're still enhancing. We were just trying to figure out what life totals were. Both these players are playing incredibly fast.
Yeah, they are playing super intensely right now. The way Tim was scratching his life board so hard, I thought that they had something monumental had happened.
Yeah. They just gave up.
Yeah, they just gave up.
They just had a tie. There it is. Ops to Scoop. He says, "Hey, I got an." Jose says, "I got another one," and we're going to the next one.
Yeah.
No nonsense from these gentlemen. They know what they're about.
Yeah, cut and dry. Any 2 attacks, with the Kamui bonus, they're just gonna really stack up. And I mean, there it is, right? We saw the power of Kamui finally coming around. Jose navigated out of that early game kill window, navigated out of that mid game kill window. Also fortunate, right, for Tim not to have found much lethality in his turn 2, and then finally being able to navigate towards that super late game, establish that incredibly massive stage, and then finally make the Kamui turns that he looks for, right?
Yeah, a clinic, really. Absolutely
clinic. So as excited as game 1 as that is, we're going to talk about the rest of the top 16 bracket real quick here, because we've got some very interesting updates across the board from the rest of our games, and it's looking to shape up to be a very intense bracket. On our left side here, Clinton Thomas versus Daniel Nelson, a very cutthroat matchup.
We're currently watching Jose versus Tim on stream, followed by Jeffrey Kahn and Deshaun Fulbright.
Yep, coming down here, Kevin Broberg versus Scott Shirelli.
Chris Smith versus Cameron Caldwell. Excuse me. I wish I was playing.
Right.
Chris Smith versus Cameron Caldwell.
Sitting right under them, we have the rematch of the century. Jacob Johnson and Travis Tangeman actually playing the inverse of their decks from the Orlando Regionals as well. Of course, JJ is on Momo for this event, and Travis is on Kirishima this event.
How awesome. Keenan Meadows and Ben Lambright.
Yep. And then right under them, we have, you just saw him, you know him, you love him, David Pena versus the almighty Barrett Bryant. So many big names here, so many big associations here, right? Tons of Omaha, tons of Rochester, so much representation across this whole board, and it's so exciting. Can't wait to see how all of those matchups play out. We already have a very interesting top 16, and as we make our way into the top 8, it's only going to get more intense, especially because once we have that top 8 solidified, those are all your world's participants. Those are all people who you are going to see on the next stage of competitive play.
I'm very excited.
Couldn't be more excited.
Question for you, Levi. Yeah, Tim got mollywopped that last game.
yeah, he did kind of get beat up pretty hard.
What does he got to do to squeak out game 2, push it to game 3?
It's hard, right? It's as when you're playing a deck like Jiro, right? You're playing a deck that you sacrifice a lot of the defensive power and late game power that a lot of other decks have for the ability to just put out 50, 60 damage on turn 2 and nuclear meltdown your rival. But unfortunately, that's simply not what happened. Right? Obviously, decks like that very much thrive off of going first. Tim does not have that luxury with Jose having the superior seed to go first in game 1. And also, once we established that very powerful build 5, we had our super cool cards in our stage that enable us to do those crazy turn 2 blowouts.
Right.
And then Jose said, I've got every season the advantage and apathetic in my deck. I'm going to flip them all along the way. And then when it finally came back down to Tim, after reestablishing his stage, he just didn't find the attacks.
Yeah.
And when you're playing a very cutthroat aggro deck that lives and dies on closing the game out so early on, that's just the nature of that gamble you take when you're playing a deck like that. You don't find your moves. As far as what he can do differently, though, right? I've talked about a lot of things outside of his agency. Just try to be a little more aware of those things. Maybe not be as afraid. Like he did plunge, head first into just reestablishing his stage, not worrying about doing a ton of pokes. Tried to get his jolt set up. Jose just had really good answers. So I'll be frank with you, Tamron. I don't think there was much Tim did wrong in any sense of that word. I think Jose had really good answers, played them very well, and then found his grip.
And also, I think one of the big factors here is that Tim just like refused to want to block, right? Tim just like soaked half of his life for essentially free, gave Jose free momentum. We saw the prehensile tail come in, discard the momentum. We see it right here. So the question is like with that kind of a attack draw power on the board, are we allowed to just like, take the chump checks?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's an extension of the gamble of playing Jiro, right? You play Jiro. That's the gamble of I have this very limited window where my deck is at its fullest power, but then also I need to try and play to that deck, achieving that window as well, which is where it starts coming in with things like, not taking or not blocking with your attacks, taking as much damage to the face so you can save those attacks, hope to draw more, but then when you don't draw more, you're sitting there with these 1-2 attacks that you can't even poke with, and you're not able to establish decent aggression, and then you're slowly, over the course of time, just taking damage for free.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we are changing up our tune a little bit in this the second game. We've got an attack coming in. It's a flash. Excuse me, a second flash coming in. The defensive power of Kamui Woods is that enhance based. You minus damage. But with Jiro not giving him the enhanced step, there's no real defense here.
Yeah. I have to. Obviously, Sound Waves is in the deck no matter what. Very, very possible that those flash attacks came in from the side. Very, very against something like Kamui. Very, very good against Kirishima, whose complete defensive power is all in those enhanced steps. Right. All of those tricks he gets to do is all. You get to just bypass all of that. Amusingly enough, it's actually very similar to our first ever meta back in the first set of the game when Kirishima 1 was such a top dog.
Right.
A lot of the Jiros were adapting very, very flash-heavy builds to dance around the powerful enhances of that character.
Yeah, absolutely. Committing the tight lips and the One of Nature telling us either the 6 extra cards in our hand are so exceptionally good, or this is not a very committal turn.
Nope, this is a poke
not
turn.
to hit you very hard.
This is definitely a poke turn, but I mean we have Tim committed out, right? So we do have a lot of windows to deal as much damage as we can without putting us in too risky of a position ourselves. I think we want to just get a little bit of momentum, get a little bit of chip damage in there, maybe get a good block out of him as well, right? Whew.
Yeah, gave this thing minus 6 speed with a double specialist exclusively to, they were going to get stunned anyway, so why not just use them both? Blocking with the mid block and checking the 2 for it to say that, I'm not sure that I would have made the same choice. I'd have just been like, minus 3 is enough, Minus 3 is fine. I don't have to do, yeah. Tim knew what was up.
I mean, as you said, you miss playing Specialist of Sound. These are the decisions in the mind of someone who plays a lot of these sound waves.
Yeah.
Right? So this is going to be a big window for Tim right here. He's got 2 cards in his hand. Tim really wants to craft an insane attack string right here. I mean, he's got the stage to do it, right? We've got the Destined, we've got the Requesting to ready things, we've got our basic training, right? If we can find a Sound Waves, I think we've gone through like 3 of them already.
I believe so.
Between our checks and our draws and our plane 1. I think we've gone through 3 of our Sound Waves. If we can find our 4th one, though, we have that 1 momentum, right? We have that 1 momentum, which is very important. It's a nice momentum as well. One of the more rarely seen attacks in Jiro's kit is that flash attack, but it is a flash, which is obviously its main integration into our deck, but it also sits here in momentum and says our next one has -2 difficulty if we so desire.
I mean, a lot of people have been stringing together Jiro turns with things like double jab pummel because of the +2 to the check, right? This is essentially doing that same thing, but in the opposite direction. It doesn't touch the blue number, it touches the orange number. And so I remember...
Ooh, Pixies? Well, that's a nice 6 check right there.
Good.
That's a nice 6 check right there. We don't even have to bother Jiroing on this attack. We get to just kind of free roll for a little bit more, save our resources. Don't let Jose have a greater idea of what's coming as well. He kind of has to be a little fearful, right? What's coming in there again with he's got this massive stage, but 2 cards in hand, right? We've got a Chivalrous R2 on board, so we have more cards if we want, but that's also extending more cards Tim's way as well.
Right.
So we got to be a little wary of that. Those have got to be much more last ditch effort scenarios.
Yeah, Chivalrous is a very funny card because a lot of times whenever you're gifting your opponent the card, right? There's the trade off when it comes to you drawing a card. They also draw a card,
right?
But normally they can't, use that card on blocks, right? It's a very fake handshake, a very fake. Hey, let me help you up. "Hey, you're welcome. You got a card too," and then you kill them with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Playing it on defense is a big no-no. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, the big power of a card like Chivalrous Competitor is it's strong when you can put your opponent in a position where them having more cards is irrelevant, right? They're either committed out, your attacks are too fast to block anyway, etc., etc., and where it can only benefit you to have those cards.
This is a fun question for you. You ready? With the amount of face downs that we have now, right? We got to get that momentum out of here. I think we tight-lipped in order to give our moves +1 damage. We flipped to maybe draw the card, and then we could Prehensile Tail. It's now the 4th face down. We get to discard that momentum out.
Yeah, it might be the move,
Yeah.
especially if in the event that Tim's got his last sound waves in hand, right? But that might just not have been the heads-up move. So we go fail the block there as Jose on the high block half. Interesting.
It's okay. I think, the big thing that we're missing here is we're losing Kamui, right? It's another -1 damage. Essentially, Jiro's not getting her, is now getting +1 damage on every move, as opposed to giving her normal scaling.
Yeah. So it looks like is that a pillar swing in Tim Keefe's hand?
It could be. It could be. Jiro lost one of her big tools.
Oh,
It is a pillar swing.
and then we know this is the 6th, right? Yeah, on the 8 we check
7, 8.
this. We check. Oh no, we check a 2.
We check a 2.
We checked a 2.
Holy cow. 6, 7, 8. Checks a 2.
We get to
3, 4,
leave-
5, 6, 7, 8. We only get to have Jiro up.
We get to leave our request and assistance up and then ready 1. So we would have to continue our turn with 2 foundations.
Holy cow.
Not a very, very good spot to put ourselves in.
Wowzers. I don't know what to do here. This is the hardest decision Tim Keefe has to make. This decision right here will determine whether he gets to be in top 8 or not. Truthfully.
Agreed. This decision has a massive impact on whether or not he gets to go to Worlds.
Yeah.
Right? This one singular decision right here, whether or not he gets to go to Worlds and then be a part of that $250,000 prize pool.
Looks like we're doing the math. He says this is worth it.
We're doing it. We are doing it.
Wait. We had -2 to our difficulty. We had -2 from the flip.
You're right.
This is
We
only
got to
got
commit 4 things.
Only 4.
Full
Okay.
send it.
Yeah, I
it.
think that this is the right call.
Yeah, we still
Man,
requested to ready our Destined if we want.
I'm sitting here being I'm crying.
Yeah, and now we get the season to build it down as well.
+2 speed, stun 2, which is just going to flip the resistance, right? But it's going to get that tool off the board.
It's going to get it out the way.
Man, it's an 8 mid for 10 damage.
Yeah, we have to block this, right?
One more move.
Yeah.
We find the throw, it's over.
It's true. It's true. And this is it's not unblockable as Jose, I should say. Like we can have a 1 mid, right? Or a 2 mid and check a 5.
Let me double check my math. 8, 9, checks 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we actually have a 1 mid. We check it all.
Yeah,
I think we're good.
for sure.
As long as we cancel. Oh, we've also got +2 to our play. Yeah, this thing's. Oh, whoa.
Tim Keefe is a
Holy
beast.
cow.
Tim Keefe is a
Did you go
demon.
speed to guarantee that he says speed to guarantee that?
Yeah.
Hey, we can't block this one anymore.
Yep. No.
Plus ultra
no,
or nothing, actually.
I've
Insane,
lied
this
to you
card
all.
coming in.
I've lied to you all.
Holy cow.
Wow.
This is so sick.
Wow.
The pillar swing nothing. He's swinging the whole building.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is just nuts.
Okay, so the question is, all right, so what's the follow-up, right? We have the throw. It's on a 5, 6, 7, 8. Check a 5, 6, 7, 8. We don't have the guarantee.
We can even check a 3 on it. The only issue with that play is if there's a Faith Shield in Jose's hand, right?
Correct.
We lose it all. We lose it all.
But it's that's got to be worth the gamble, right? We already went this far. We don't have the momentum.
Yep.
Tim went to flip the requesting assistance.
Yep.
That was not part of the calculations,
Yep,
Tim.
that is the only trade-off of this play.
No.
That's the only trade-off of this play.
Home run comment also might get there as well.
The home run comet is
It's on a 4, 5, 6, 7, and it's going to get +4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still fairly blockable, though, if Jose takes this. He's got a massive stage still.
He does, but there's the chance. Attempting to chump block this. He says it's worth it to leave the card in the card pool.
Yep.
All right, we're down to 3. What happens now.
What is the plan? What is the plan, Tim
follow-up?
Keefe? I can't imagine we went this far without a plan, right?
He says I'm down.
Wow.
Hey, you can't do 27 to me. It's nothing.
He
There's
said you
nothing
can't
there.
do it. He said
You've
you
got
can't
no
do it.
momentum. Your prehensile tail doesn't matter. I get to keep both of these cards as momentum. I get to selectively commit down a card that I
Yeah,
like.
he gets a jolt.
I'm good.
I've got shock treatment. I've got one committal for shock treatment. The first thing that's happening is one with nature's getting committed, right?
It's got to, right?
It's got to. Yeah. I mean, we have a specialist of sound. Now our requesting is online to double specialist play. We've actually got a massive amount of defensive power, and capabilities as Tim Keefe here. And I mean, Jose really with the pressure on now, though, right? Like we have to win this turn as Jose. And 27 is hard to do.
Correct. Not without a little help from my opponent, my rival blocking my moves to get the extra stats, right? Because like the thing about Kamui is the more that you interact with him, the stronger his moves get on down the line.
Yep.
But if you don't interact with him at all, every move gets +1 damage. That's one revel in my masterpiece. That's nothing. I play a 2-5-3 mid block to make that happen. I don't want to use an entire character.
It also means that you're just taking a million damage to the face, right?
Sure.
However, that is like the Jiro specialty, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold these attacks in my hand and take everything until I have to block it or die.
Absolutely.
And right now, that's a position that Tim Keefe can gladly put himself in, because if Jose really goes in this turn and doesn't finish things off, I mean, it's 3 health.
It's 3 health.
3 health. 3 health is a grain of sand to Kyoka Jiro.
Especially with how hard she hits, how fast she hits. I mean, this is just, it's curtains, and we're going to a game 3.
Whew. Very possible, unless Jose can channel his inner one with nature and find a miracle win this turn. But I think it's gonna be tough. I think Tim's got two blocks for sure that are almost impossible for him to not pass. Right.
Jab is huge here.
Not a fantastic check though.
That is fine. I mean, we technically like checked a 4, right? Because the jab is
sure.
ability to lift a
It's
card,
a little worse.
build it back in.
But given that we already had things committed, all right, it would have been nice to have just checked well there and then start to reset our stage, rather than just mitigate our bad check a little. But let's see. I mean, Jose. Let's see if Jose can smell blood, right? Can he get there? That is like the big question this turn. I mean, we saw him do it last game, right? He found a very impressive attack string out of nowhere, but he's working with a lot less resources than he was at that point in time, right? He's got a lot less foundations to commit. He's got a lot less draw power.
Okay, there's one block.
The rapid punches.
There it is.
Okay, we found our 5 check as well. Coming with the 1 damage, gonna get its 1 speed for the rapid punches in the pool. Now it's just a matter of what is our. So here's the thing though, right? We have our 1 other card remaining in hand. But we actually have a lot more than that as Tim, if we so desire.
True.
Because of our hidden text on Disinformation Success inside a Kyoka Jiro deck. It can't fail. It cannot fail.
Absolutely not. 2 more unanswered attacks and this game is over. The question is, can, as Jose, we pass them?
Yeah.
I think we're missing the draw. I think we missed the draw. Whoa, this move's absolutely massive.
Yeah, this is a big uppercut.
It hits really hard, but it can be the slowest move in the world. We've got -6 speed represented
in the world. Yeah, and I mean,
on Tim's side.
The scenario here where this doesn't get perfect blocked is yep. So there's yep. So we scouted. We found the airstream driver. Put it on top. That's our 1 low block. We flipped Destined and picked it back up. Absolutely amazing textbook play there. This is going to be the most blockable move in the entire world. Now, we commit to give a punch -3 speed.
Yeah.
We have so much speed reduction on our field as Tim Keefe here, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage for not a lot of results.
I mean, we get to ready Kamui.
We'd have to have, what do we have to have? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'd have to have another one of these?
We have the wow.
Oh, wow. So we have another low. I don't think we actually get there now.
No, I don't think we can get there.
Even with another hardened uppercut, right? Hardened uppercut would be 5. We've had 3 Kamui triggers. Yeah, I think it would have hit exactly 12, but I don't think that we could have gotten there. It was just getting blocked. But now we know, right? We have a little peek from Jose's side. There's an Airstream driver, which means, the first time that I block something, there is a a jab into a huge airstream driver haymaker.
I mean, that's hard though, right? Because like the counterplay to a card like airstream driver is to not block into it, right? But that's not a luxury we have right now as Jose. We have 3 health. We have 3 big health remaining, and we effectively have 0 foundations ready because that shock treatment is about to just start putting in a massive amount of work. Ooh. We're gonna stun 1. We're gonna shock treatment discard. We're gonna shock treatment remove. We're gonna have no stage as Jose. We have the airstream driver in hand, which once we use that enhance is gonna be unblockable while we're committed out. And then if that somehow gets outed, we have the home run comet in Tim's hand as well. Yeah, Tim's got the orange here.
This is it. I think we're going to
get also just EX this move.
He could just EX this move and make it happen.
And make it very, very unblockable. Yeah, I don't
we
know.
We could Kamui to put it down to 3. That sounds cool.
We could. And yeah. Jose acknowledges that he's very dead here. And so we found the attacks, right? We found the attacks that time as Tim Keefe. We didn't find exactly enough for lethal, but we found enough to put Jose in a position where he had to try and close the game out.
Correct.
And I think that's something I've talked about in length about a lot of the strongest aggro decks in our game right now is that they have so much aggro potential that unless you are in the most opportune position in the whole wide world, you're not allowed to pass back into them. Because the odds of them not finding what they need to finish you off if you're at low health and low defenses is just so unreasonably unlikely that even if you're a massively defensive deck whose goal is to not kill people in the slightest and play a much longer game, you have to go in right then and there. You have to go completely against your deck's nature and betray what your deck is built and meant to do, because building and passing into them is just asking to be lethal, right?
Agreed.
And I think that's what we saw, right? Like, there's not really a world where Jose, like, goes in and imagines that he can actually finish the game out that turn. But that's kind of just the line that he was forced to take because you're asking Tim Keefe there to just draw 0 attacks. You're asking him to just draw 0 attacks by building and passing into him. I also think that we just had like 1 million attacks in our hand as well, because we played like 5 moves, right? We just played like 1,000 moves as Jose, so it might have also just been the only things we had. But either way, it wasn't exactly a choice that he had, even if he had foundations, right?
I'm going to take a second. Holy cow, that pillow swing is so sick.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
So
it's crazy to do because that's also tech that we've seen the other Jiro up here utilize in this tournament. We've seen a lot of pillar swing in Jiro, which is kind of crazy.
We lost on Wavering Slash. It makes sense.
We did. Yeah. Right? We need a big, giant charge weapon.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's also a low block. It's also a low block that like Unwavering was.
It took that exact spot that Unwavering had. Yep. Unwavering was like a flow card. This is purely just an aggro card. But wait. It's also a flow card. If it's fully blocked, it goes to your momentum. That card always goes to your momentum, guaranteed.
Yep.
Unless it gets face shielded, question mark?
Yep. Unless you plus ultra it, and it's the most unblockable move in the world. That was an extremely hype play. Holy cow, was that so cool.
Yeah.
Really, really, really cool tech by Tim there.
Attack into seizing into 6 diff is not a thing that I saw that I was going to see on stream today.
No, I think it was the last thing Jose expected as well. Yeah. To get hit by a pillar swing that gets plus ultra'd. Crazy. Oh. Crazy. I mean, like, with something like Seizing the Advantage, like, the second you start putting, like, more than 3 speed on a pillar swing, it is actually kind of absurd.
Oh, for sure.
8 damage is a lot. 3 speed just isn't a lot.
Yeah.
But Jiro changes all of that very, very easily.
Yeah, as soon as you increase that speed number, like it gets real wonky because it also's got that stun 2, right? So 3 mid for 8, stun 2, and then it pops off.
This is a really nice build by Tim here. These are some crazy 0 difficulty foundations. We talk so much about Chaos's crazy zeros, right? Air has almost all of them too,
right?
Because they're all on Toru, Kaminari, and Ochako kits.
Right.
The only real crazy one we don't have is easily excited.
Yeah. Up to commit the Jiro. I think that I make that choice 100 out of 100 times. I mean, Tim's in top 16 and I'm not, but I think that there's no reason not to commit the character here.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that this Kamui deck is just killing me on 4 foundations. To the point where I don't need my character at least.
Right.
We're seeing some interesting tech as well on Tim's field. The new Jiro Foundation from Heroes Clash, the dexterous appendages,
Right.
also not a big one that's seen a ton of play, but has some really, really nice utilization as well. The dexterous appendages does. It's all about the speed pump, right? That's like kind of the biggest thing about that card.
I want to say it also says if my opponent does something to interact with the top card of my deck,
It does.
I get to cancel it. Can you pull up dexterous appendages for me?
It does. Yeah. Yeah. It does some very
Dexterous
interesting
appendage.
things. I think the big thing though is like being able to put speed, right? Being able to
Yeah.
put it lets you put speed on Pillar Swing, which is just a massive application.
I think it stops Chivalrous, right? If your name card leaves your deck due to a rival effect, then making you draw a card as a rival effect, add a card from your discard pile to the top of your deck.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
absolutely
So if
correct.
they make you draw one from there, you get to stack.
You
your
get to
check.
pick your draw.
That's it's after the draw. So
Okay.
I would draw, and then I get to stack a 6 on top, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's some very cool tech.
That is very, very,
Yeah,
very
but the
cool.
speed, you're right. The speed is really important. I just saw Chivalrous on the board, and I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah,
that's
no,
neat.
I have
That's
to
cool
imagine
stuff.
that's probably the primary reason it's in the deck. I imagine that's the primary reason it's in the deck.
Yeah.
Like definitely. But yeah, man, I mean, 3 speed on Pillar Swing is like up. That's it's no joke. That's no joke.
Agreed.
You're making your 10 damage move unblockable is very, very frightening. I mean, that is exactly what led what led Tim to winning that game last turn against Jose.
All right, so we got a poke in from Jose. Flipped a couple key pieces on Keith's board, and we'll see. I mean, if Tim just draws the hand, he draws the hand, right?
Yeah, I mean, our stage has gotten pretty hard flipped from the Season the Advantages. Of course, the almighty Season the Advantages, but we definitely still have a lot of resources here. Requesting assistance. I mean, if we can start doing like some home run comment momentum snaps, some specialized sound waves, the potential that Jiro has is unreal.
Agreed.
And we're going to start with a flash attack. The last thing that Jose wants to see as Kamui. Given the knowledge, right? Given the knowledge that we are sideboarding these flash attacks, and Tim is playing this deck that wants to just blow me up on turn 2 so fast. Do you think it's surprising that we didn't see Jose board into Kirishima 2 for this matchup?
I don't know. I mean, he won game 1, right? He won game 1, and I think it might be more important to use Kamui to negate the Jiro on the things that we can negate, right? And just like if we get got by flash attacks, we get got, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's certainly a choice. I don't think that there is a bad call there, but it is it's a real question. Venue's popping off. I love it.
Well, they're popping off. They're popping off. So we just see a very nice poke turn by Tim there, establishing his stage, even more requesting assistances. Definitely not the most aggressive stage in the world, but he's got a lot of survival power right now. And at the end of the day, if Jiro finds like massive amounts of attacks, your stage doesn't really need to do a whole lot. Right? As long as it just like exists to commit to play all of your moves, Jiro's going to make them more than threatening enough. So he's still putting himself in a position where once he finds his grip, he can go in. It's, you know, quantity over quality type of situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we got a pretty good. Man, this is Jose's board is incredibly strong.
Yeah,
Tim Keefe's board is blank.
Tim Keefe's board kind of sucks.
Right?
It's not very nice.
The apathetic flips over the release, and then, or even we let them release, right? Like, let's just let Tim blow up his whole stage. We keep building. We're down.
Yeah, the pressure is not on Jose to finish the game this turn.
Yeah.
I think Jose is going to decide if he wants to go into deadlock at some point, and then if he does, he will apathetic the basic trading.
Right.
That is more than likely his thought process right now. Is just keeping being able to Earth being able to leverage seizing the advantage in apathetic to just constantly go into deadlock and weave his way around their threats is just so powerful.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only thing we're missing here on Kamui's board is actually just the tight-lipped.
Sure, yeah, that little bit of damage pump. So Tim's got 3 cards in hand. Given how we very minimally poked last turn, I don't know. I mean, we're face taking these moves again, so I have to imagine now that we're holding on to some very strong attacks. Jose acknowledging the potential of that. I think the second Jiro just face tanks my first attack with a ton of foundations to commit and 3 cards in hand, I go, oh, I might be dead next turn.
Right.
I'm gonna pivot now. I'm gonna start building. I got my little bit of damage in. I'm not worried about it. It's time to stabilize and make sure that I can find my way to just make it through the next turn. That's my biggest concern. And we're gonna see Jose doing that by boldly shredding into deadlock.
We just got an update. Chris Smith is our first confirmed win into top 8.
Wow!
Congratulations to Chris Smith.
Universe's father himself.
The dad.
Yeah. Who better, right?
Who better?
Who better?
Could not think of one.
Cannot wait to see him at Worlds. Absolutely amazing guy. So excited that he has got that spot locked up. Also, our first confirmed Kirishima in the top 8 of this tournament.
True.
When I got to speak with the owners of this fantastic company who make this fantastic game, Paul and Luhan, quite a bit this weekend. The first thing Paul asked me when he saw me this weekend is he said, "Levi, what is winning this weekend?" And I looked around after perusing for quite a while, and I said, I think something super wild that figured out how to destroy Kirishima, or the best Kirishima player in the room. I think it's one of those two things. And the more I scoped the top tables, the more and more I perused, I saw Chris Smith playing the character, and I said, yep, that is one of my picks right there. Chris Smith, just absolutely renowned player, and behind such a insane deck like Kirishima, couldn't surprise me. Couldn't surprise me less that he made it all the way here.
All right, so we got Tim Keefe going deep.
Tim Keefe thinking if it's time. Is it time?
We haven't hit the final boss mode position yet, where Tim puts his hand down, he crosses his arms, and he thinks.
This is true.
Doesn't need the visuals of the cards anymore. Just goes into it. Right now he's doing a lot of math. 17's a lot. We got a lot of cards on Jose's side. We have a deceptively large amount of cards due to
opening with a 1.3.
Ooh, checking a 3 on it. That is not how the turn was supposed to start. I'm positive of that. That is not what we were hoping for.
This might be the check that pivots us.
Yeah.
Right? This might be the check that pivots us. You know, sometimes you look at your hand and you go, okay. Things go really well. I can start doing some crazy stuff. And you check that first 3 and you're like, okay, maybe it's not time to get out of hand this turn. But ultimately, it's just going to be a matter of what Tim's hand presents to us. Also, what the top 2 cards of his deck present to him, right? You know, if we look at our top 2 as Jiro, you see 2 5 checks.
Right.
Might be time to get a little crazy.
Did Tim not look at the top card of his deck?
What's that?
He looked at Jose's. Did he not look at Tim's? I don't think he looked at his own.
I'm not sure. The stun here is kind of scary. Staring down to someone with style, and it can't be fixed. Someone with style coming in by destroying the flipped apathetic to go ahead and ready itself. Jose wanting to make sure that he remains constantly in control of the situation, in control of his own stage.
And out of deadlock.
Leverage all his blocking power, yeah. Ooh, the Faith Shield is huge here. That double jab pummel that might be sitting in our hand that we wanted to jam here might suddenly be going the way of the dodo, right? Double jab pummel, of course, being one of the strongest moves in Jiro's entire weapon kit. One of the strongest attacks that you can utilize, being able to stack her checks, stack her draws, right? Plus to her checks. The card does a lot of things, especially within that character. But the biggest requirement, the biggest cost you must pay for all that crazy cool stuff happening is the card's got the words combo on it. Right. And right now, that flipped 1.3 million volts isn't comboing with a darn thing. And it looks like we've got the pivot. The pivot from Tim says, okay, maybe now is not the time. Here's double destined for mainstream success. Do 16.
We might have been just hoping that we make some sort of damage happen, right? Like maybe a half block there, getting an extra 3 damage might have coaxed us into swinging a little harder as Tim, but.
So there's the rapid punches coming in. Just going to come as a nice, like, I'm going to try and cantrip this attack. Pick it up that it can't be fixed. I mean, yeah, we're fighting an air deck, right? Stun is on every good attack in that deck. We want to start stacking and recycling these it can't be fixed as much as possible, especially if we are just down to go into deadlock, right? The second you're down to go into deadlock, that card has no drawbacks whatsoever. Nothing to consider.
And we have 2 really good high blocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like high attacks are all the air deck wants to do. It's got a silly low, as we just saw the indiscriminate, but like, I mean, the high zone is what it's known for. So one high is pretty good at saving a lot of life for Kamui.
Yeah, I mean, we've also got the hardened uppercuts in our deck, right? The 0 high.
Right.
The 0 high that makes the next one even slower. Leveraging so much blocking power right then and there. Whole lot of advantage coming out of just that one card. Ooh,
Right,
discarding for the snack time.
I love
snack
that.
time coming in big. Coming in big. Jose is snacking right now.
I think the number one issue that we're gonna have here is release. We got to make sure that release is taken care of.
Right? At the same time, it's like you said earlier, though, right? If we just like go in, even if we never touched him the whole time, and he blocks everything by destroying half of his stage, super cool transaction for us.
Yeah.
Super cool transaction for us. But we're just going to see
Squabble is huge.
Yeah, we're going to see Tim
Squabble is
continue to just
massive.
face take attacks here without a care in the world, trying to hold on to his cool moves, I can only presume. But now we're building some really crazy pieces as Jose. The prehensile tail being massive. As you said, the squabble, absolutely huge. We're not going to allow Tim to sculpt nearly as much as he wants to.
I think this is a 5-attack hand. I think we had 3 cards in our hand that were attack cards.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had 1 attack on top, and then 1 foundation. And then I'm positive we just drew another one. I think this might be a dead Jose.
I mean, we've got 9 foundations. But double destined for mainstream success, so we might have even more. It might be more than a 5-attack hand if we've got any chilling on top, and we can't check bad. This could be scary. This could be.
And
scary.
we've gone to deadlock again, I believe.
We have, yeah.
8, 9,
We
10,
have
11,
that
12,
basic
yeah.
training is going to put in an immense amount of work. We've also got our flash move, chilling in momentum, waiting to make our next one easier to play. Starting with a home run comment, that's going to be terrifying, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be terrifying. Like, what does that say? That either says your hand is garbage. This is your only attack. You're poking with this to try and make something happen, or it says this is the best. This is the worst best opener I have.
And not to mention, like, this card generates an extra momentum. Any of these specialized sound waves get to, or specialized sound waves, excuse me, get to stack more sound waves and then draw more, and they all swing for him.
I think we've got 2 threes on top, as Jose.
Oh no!
I think we have 2 threes on top. I think I saw a back alley on top and some other attack. I could be wrong. It was pretty tough to make out. So we're gonna destine there and pick up a double jab pummel.
An attack? I have no idea what it was.
It was some kind of attack. The way Tim like
It was also
underhand
2 attacks.
Oh.
He flipped both.
Oh. So we have
wow!
a 7 attack hand now?
Oh,
Is that
wow.
what we're saying?
This is a lot.
Yeah.
This is a
This
lot.
is immense. This is very, very immense here. I don't think it even matters what these attacks are as Jiro. If we can just play them all, it's just going to be an overwhelming number of moves. Jose's got a lot of blocking power. I mean, he's got, what, 4 in hand? He's got so many things to commit. He's got the power of Kamui. He's got Kamui to protect him. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. He's got double high value target. That's pretty nice.
I think it all depends on how many.
Yeah, there's the back alley that I saw on top. Yep. The one high value coming in clutch. We also have someone with style to leverage a little bit. Kamui's going to come back up. I mean, this is a classic spear and shield right here. This is a huge spear and shield right here. Jose presenting a ton of defensive power, but Jiro with 7 attacks, man. Jiro with 7 attacks. We're gonna go until we can't play those darn things anymore.
Yeah.
Looks
we also have a plus ultra in hand.
plus
with
ultra.
2 momentum.
Then we've got an airstream. If we have some double jabs, it's gonna get very, very, very crazy, very, 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 very fast.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, man. Tim, we're in the tank right now. We've got some very, very big decisions to make because once again, just like last time, the next card, the rest of the turn that we play out, the next few cards, the next singular one card we play out could be the very decision that decides if we get to make it to Worlds or not. Speaking of making it to Worlds or not, Cameron, do you want to tell the lovely people at home our next confirmed Worlds participant?
Congratulations to Keenan Meadows with Asui making it into top 8 of this tournament. I'll see him at Worlds. It's gonna be tight.
Huge firm handshakes to Keenan. Absolutely fantastic guy, fantastic player. Gave us what I consider to be the most exciting stream match yesterday. Cannot wait to see some more of his fantastic matches on stream at Worlds. Coming back to Mr. Keefe here, though, we've our second home run comment.
As the second form of the turn, Jose's got to be sweating bullets.
Yeah. I mean, like,
This is not what you're supposed to do with this card.
No. What in the world does this entail?
Yeah.
What in the world does this entail? We have a sound waves in hand. I think Jose's dead.
Yeah.
Sound waves to momentum means sound waves into
Stack
man.
2 6 checks.
Stacking
and
6 checks like
we've
crazy.
seen indiscriminate shock. We've seen
Yeah.
Airstream
If we play
driver.
the sound waves late enough into our chain, and Jose has blocked so much already, we can at that point just identify what attack wins the game for us and just go pick it up and grab it. Soundwave still, man, even still, so many more cards into this game than from day one. Still, I think, the best 2-check. One of the only 2-checks that actually makes you say, yeah, I'm going to put 2 checks in my deck for nationals.
Yeah.
I'm down to check 2s when it's make or break to get to Worlds, because the power of that card is just so immense.
So we got Tim deep in the tank. I mean, one of the issues with our game is there are obvious correct lines, but what separates the champs and the chumps is literally I have 6 attacks, but I only have 8 foundations. What cards do I play? What is the correct order? Looking at my opponent's board.
I'm only going to get 4 of these 6 attacks, what for destroy him?
What matter?
Yeah, and what are the odds of any combination of 4 just finding lethal? At that point, is it better to risk 5, right? And just not worry about checking bad, right? I mean, it's all about that risk assessment, man. That risk assessment is one of the hardest things about going from chump to champ, right? One of the most difficult things to learn.
I actually think the correct line here, I think we actually ignore the cards that are in our hand at the moment. I think we go double jab into, or we go specialist, pick up double jab into specialist, pick up double jab, right? And I think you specialist, play double jab,
did
specialist,
we
play double
style
jab.
already this turn?
No.
Really?
We just committed it.
Okay. Was that last turn when we just read the apathetic? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Makes sense. So we see the Summer style coming in to further stabilize our stage. But we've also got the flip from Tim Keefe coming in for the -2 difficulty on our next one.
Right.
So, pillar swing? Oh, Airstream driver maybe. Oh, nope, it's the pillar swing.
Pillar swing makes sense.
On a 6,
Takes
right?
a 5, commit 1 to make it 6.
Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. And the big thing here is this basic training is playable while committed.
Right.
So we are still
huge.
in deadlock.
There's the plus ultra.
Yeah.
Checking the 3. No sweat off of our backs, because this is about to be a 14 speed pillar swing.
I think you actually do damage here.
Really? Just to force the block?
Yeah, you do damage just to force the block.
To get
this
the
thing gets to go to
momentum and the
momentum
clear.
anyways. Like, that's fine.
Okay. So you just force him to block it on the 9, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Tim disagrees with me, and that's
going
okay.
Going for the speed.
He says guaranteed damage is way better than anything else. Flip up Brienne's tail discard
coming
extra
in.
momentum.
Man, this is these are crazy lines. These are super crazy lines from Tim's end here. We've not stun 2'd yet.
Yeah,
Not allowed to stun 2. Not allowed to stun 2. With someone with style.
Oh, correct.
Not allowed to stun 2. Absolutely not allowed to stun 2.
All right, we both would have failed.
Yep.
We both would have lost our shot. This would have been the slowest move of all time.
Yeah. And there it is. There is 10 damage in right there. Jose going down to 2.
Ow.
Wow, yeah. Just a big old pillar swing. And now the sound waves shenanigans begin, right?
Yeah.
The sound wave shenanigans begin.
7. This is on a 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, Soundwave is not. It's not possible to fail this Soundwave.
No, it's
right?
not.
But there's no way we don't have a high block in our hand as Jose.
Right.
So the question is like how
Do we
much
just stack
resource?
another high attack, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
How many resources can we make them use on the sound waves in order to
get another move
the
in,
next
right? I
one.
mean, we could stack a 6 check, right? We could stack another sound waves on, and it would be on an 8.
Yeah.
Things commit 2. As long as we don't check a 2 on this sound waves. But does 2 sound waves finish the game?
I mean, what's important here is you just force Jose to block everything, right?
Yes, correct.
We don't necessarily care how fast they are. We just need him to put cards in his card pool, make control checks.
Yeah.
Right.
We've undoubtedly got another high block in hand. Otherwise, I think we would have new training method, right? to pick.
To pick this high block up. Correct. Absolutely.
Oh, actually, no. We destroyed that with someone's style. That's our destruction from someone's style.
I sure we checked a high block at some point. Who knows?
At some point. Yeah, in our one check this turn.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, it happened. Yeah, I'm sure of it.
I mean, yeah, they still just got so much stage. I mean, going back down to 2 life, the fact that he boldly said, "Yeah, I'll just go to 2. I'll just go to 2, man. It's no big deal."
Yeah.
It's no big deal. Says we're covering every zone. We could also have faith shields in hand, so even more coverage of our zones.
Correct.
Again, Boys trained so much defensive power here. We said this about air yesterday, right? Like this is Tim Keefe's puzzle. This is Tim Keefe's puzzle to solve right now with all of these moves in his hand.
And we're gonna sit here and let him think. Let's give him the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's great about untimed top cuts, right? We get to say, okay, I think maybe it's possible. Tim is just leveraging the thought of just chilling out afterwards, right? Just chilling out after this, right? I put you to 2. I dealt 15 for free. I'm down to chill after that. But can you pass into this Kamui board?
What happens if we check a 3 on our next move? I think that's the big answer,
so
right?
it would be on a 7. We check a 3. We commit 4 things. We would have our release up, right?
No, turns over. Because even if we stack the 6, we can't like really push any other extra stats, right?
Yeah, because what we could do there, if we check a 3, we commit 4 of our things, we leave 1 foundation up, we could stack a sound waves and a 6 check, and then play it on an 8, check a 6, commit our release and our character. Which, to be fair, if we're going to sound waves and a sound waves, we don't need our character ready, because it only puts damage on it.
Right.
But they're not going to be particularly fast. It's going to be like two very, very slow high attacks.
5 highs because of the basic training, but
Yeah.
I mean it's 5 high for lethal, 5 high for lethal. And like,
Yeah,
so that's not a terrible.
Yeah,
terrible
while we
move.
have 3, 6, 9, 10, effectively 11 foundations to commit as Jose.
We made the decision.
There's our sound waves. We're going in. There's our 3
the 3.
check.
Oh no, I'm so sorry, Tim. This is our fault. If we hadn't have talked about it, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, we prophesized it. I've doomed Tim.
As Tim, do you push?
I don't know.
I think the answer is yes. I think you put him on. You got to have it.
Yeah, you got to have 2 high blocks. Just have it.
Yeah, you got to have 2 high blocks in order to do this.
And have 2 high blocks. Also, not check a high block with the new because of the new training method. We don't get the chivalrous during these to dig for it. They're both flash moves. I mean, it's just a matter of if did Jose go into this turn holding 3 high blocks in his 4-card hand,
Or face shield.
or
Face shield also gets you there.
or face shield.
But face shield is a very bad block.
It's expensive for sure. I mean, even on a 9, right? We can check a 3. We can commit 6 things and still have 5 things to commit. Because our high value target is 2 foundations.
Correct.
And then at that point, like, with 5 things to commit, if we have a high block for the next one, on an 8, check a 3, commit our other 5 things. Like, we can like block with face shield and like check rolling 3s.
Correct.
It's just we have a lot of things to commit here as Jose. All right, there's our 4 committal.
I think resolving this is the correct play.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, we've come this far, right?
We have.
Just put him on. Gotta have it.
Gotta have it. I think that is just your only out.
I can't tell if Jose's got the nervous tick because he has the block or he doesn't.
Yeah, it's hard to say. But he's just got so many cards in hand. I feel like it's crazy to not have it here. I mean, especially going to 2. Well, I guess he didn't really decide to go to 2. He couldn't block 14 mid.
He decided.
He didn't really decide to go to 2. That was exactly his call to make.
Are we looking? I mean, we've got the 6. We're looking to stack a not sound waves. I mean, this has got to be sound waves, right?
Yeah, sound waves is the only thing we can play on an 8 here and check a 6 to commit 2. That is our only line. That is our only line.
Stack and then draw. Makes sense to me. And hey Jose, you got the thing. It's 5 high for stuff. He said absolutely I do. Oh, and the next one's slower. And the next one's slower. Holy cow! I told Jose I thought this card was bad in his deck.
You're insane.
I said, hey man, this is a 5 diff that just hits hard. But this card could single-handedly save this match.
Mm-hmm. This
0
card
high
uppercut could be the reason that Jose Naranjo of Unfun Stuff fame gets to go to Worlds this year. Yeah, no, I've always been a big fan of this card. Just a matter of trying to find a deck that can support it really well. But I think Jose's Kamui deck is really, really well suited to that. And now, I mean, as Tim, you gotta be like just super debilitated now, right?
Yeah, I don't think we're allowed to pivot, man. Release
No, I don't
Jiro
think we are either.
It's not 11. I mean, well, we have to just hope that Jose misses, right?
Yeah.
Like as your 7-hand size character, he's got every foundation in the world.
Yep.
He's got an extra draw. If he has one, he gets to draw another with Chivalrous Competitor.
Yep.
He gets to petty squabble as many times as you block.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you have to put him on it. I think you have to swing. Looking at what Jose's board state is, if he just one attack card, he gets to dig so deep.
We've separated the ones that dealt damage. We might be considering ending here as
Tim. I think you got to swing, man. But he is giving up the goose.
Giving up the goose.
We'll see how it works out. I don't love that play.
No, I don't love it either.
With no review, this game's over.
I don't love going into that play at all.
Wow.
I don't love going
no
into that play at
review.
all. But I dislike even more going halfway into it and the seizing.
Give him a body bag.
Just like that.
Wow.
In the most literal way possible. Jose Naranjo seizing the advantage away. Our moves are just the most unblockable moves in the world. We have snack time to commit it to with the stun. We have the speed pump. There's no world. Where's the world, Tamron? Where Tim Keefe can find his way out of this?
What? You don't. You don't. You don't.
No,
you don't get to do it.
I don't like to call him before I see him, Tamron.
Petty squabble, discarding the 2 and then redrawing the 2.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure there's an attack on top as well.
Yep.
And now,
I mean, that's the thing, right? We're at
Tim
one
gets
card
to
left in
know.
deck. Jose knew what attacks were remaining in his deck. I know he does, right?
Right.
I know he knows
With a caliber
what
character,
attacks he was about to
character
draw.
player.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He knows the contents of his deck. He knows what attacks are coming. Jose Naranjo just making sure, obviously, as blatant and direct as it seems, one flub and you might not be going to Worlds, buddy. One flub and you might not be going to Worlds. We don't want to mess up. We want to take the time
to think 4 down to
think long
7.
and hard about our plays. Take the 4 down to 7. Draw our last card from the rapid punches. Get to the cycle. I have to imagine, since we activated the enhance to draw a card, if it hit, we knew that last card was an attack as Jose.
For sure.
I mean, if it's a foundation, you don't enhance, right?
The other thing is you want it just to get the +1, get an extra card in your hand to
For
get the snack time.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Another one, it's going to get even faster because of how rapid these punches are.
These punches are very, very, very rapid, Tamron.
Goes down to 3.
Not even thinking about it. Looks like we didn't even pop the enhance to draw. We're just not even worried.
No way.
Jose knows.
No way.
Jose knows he's just got the goods.
He doesn't have it.
No.
He doesn't have it.
What?
What happened?
What?
He had rapid punches and that was it.
What? We should have
There's no more attack
responded
cards.
to draw if he didn't have
Where are the orange cards?
And the naval laser was on the top.
You definitely draw because you need as many blocks as you can.
Yeah. I guess it just didn't respond on the second round of punches to draw a card.
Where did they go?
Oh my goodness. We would have drawn the naval laser and chipped it.
And
for unblockable.
We know how much gas Tim has in his hand.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
He still has like indiscriminate shock. We know he has a sound waves. Petty squabble didn't hurt the hand that bad.
Wow.
This is insane.
That's actually insane. That's actually insane. Oh my goodness.
Can Jose survive another turn?
I don't know. Tamron. This is the most dire of straights right here. The jolt coming in. We have the jolt coming in, our deadlock response, our primary response. Oh my goodness.
2 jolts, the game's over.
Yeah.
Two jolts, the game's over.
Faith shield. the saving grace that could be our faith shield.
Would be so surprised.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. This is crazy. This is a crazy situation that we're in right here. Tim Keith got to be just breathing the biggest, monumental, massive sigh of relief here.
Yeah, of course. Is 7-hand size Kamui Woods.
Yeah, I mean, Jose's still got, infinite foundations to commit, but at this point, our block zones are way too dire.
He had it.
Faith Shield's huge. Faith Shield's huge.
I'm losing my mind.
Yep.
Does he have 3 cards in hand? Does he have the second?
I think he's got 3 other cards in his hand, so potentially. We're going to have to pay for it. We're going to have to pay for it for sure. But it's going to clear itself. We're going to ready our Kamui. We're finding our bearings back. This is just an absolutely maddening game right now. This is an absolutely maddening game right now.
So the big thing about readying Kamui, right, is it does let us squabble on our opponent's turn if we absolutely need to, right? If we don't like the block mods that are in our hand, as long as we have it in hand step, not play the flash move, commit my character, discard 2, redraw, find those, swinging all highs, and I've got all lows.
It gives us a miracle out. It gives us a miracle out.
Yeah.
Oh, but the 4th sound.
He said no more enhances for the rest of the game, actually.
Oh, and we have the other momentum.
Yeah,
we can sound waves into sound waves into, oh my god.
Into another flash.
Yeah.
He says you better hold the perfect ones.
You better have every single high block in the entire world, Jose Naranjo. Oh man, this is devastating.
We're sitting here with bated breath. We don't even know what to say.
I mean,
we don't even know what to say.
Just have it. We just have to have it here. Find it. I think this is the last sound waves in our deck.
Checking a high block really matters here.
For sure. New training method is lingering. But we are definitely getting to the point where we're actually going to start running out of foundations to commit eventually.
Yeah.
So the committal of new training. So what do we go grab now? Do we have a throw?
You grab another one.
We're just going to go to this and just draw a card.
Sense.
Yeah.
I think we have all 4 in our hand.
Do we seriously?
I think we have all 4 of the specialists in our hand.
Wow.
Whoa.
Okay, we got the high block. On a.
That was not the check that we
4,
wanted.
5, 6, 7. Yeah, we have a lot of foundations, but they're starting to catch up to us. And we're still not checking our high block.
Ready, and another one, 3 damage. Oh, hey, look, we checked a 6.
Oh, and we have no high block.
Insane. Tim Keith wins beating Jose Naranjo with sound waves.
It's a sound waves. Every 2 we've ever checked is worth the blood, sweat, and tears it's given us because this card has single-handedly completely dominated this game.
What an insane match that was. Both players taking each other to the limit. Both players not knowing when to push, when to pull, when to draw, when to cry.
So much famine, Timron. Absolutely.
This was the sickest match I've commentated all events.
The sheer tenacity of these
I'm
players.
not positive it's going to get better than this.
It's going to be tough.
We're going to have to watch.
Last round too, though, right? Also how I felt last round.
And it all came down to the power of a 2 check. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not playing 2 checks, you need to get them in your deck. Yeah. They're so good. They're so strong. They break the game.
Welcome to the 2-check meta, my friends. Absolute insanity going on. God, what a crazy game. The heads must be ringing for both players here, right? They must both be feeling so many things, everything, everywhere. Wow, what an insane set of games. Impeccable.
My hair's blown back. My hair's nuts.
Yeah. Impeccable play from both players. Actually just came down to, just like the last round, right? You've got 2 extremely skilled players. It's going to come down to those slight bits of RNG that still exists in our game.
Insane.
And
there's so much more. In fact, we're going to take a small break, get an interview with the winner, Tim Keith, one of our competitors.
Most renowned players in the entire history of the game so far, both new and old, and now being one of world's first participants. Absolutely exciting stuff. Let's get him on so he can gush all about it instead. Stay tuned, guys.
We'll be right back. Well, that was a pretty boring game, huh?
Oh man,
we were absolutely
that was a wild one.
Losing our minds over here. That was the most exciting hype game that I have cast this entire weekend.
Yeah,
I've been walking around watching a lot of pickup games. I'm sure you got to be ecstatic, and I want to be the first to say congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Top 8, insane.
Yeah. Been working at it all year. Just needed a top 8. What was I doing? Wanted to get all those airplanes. I had a good time.
Good. I mean, I'm positive going around to the tournaments, playing against these high-level competitors helped you get to this spot
Yeah,
you are here
absolutely.
now. So yeah, insane. I got to talk about your mentality going into the last couple turns. We saw how much citrus you had in your hand.
Yeah.
It was nothing but orange.
Yeah.
And
He
you
had
refused
a
to check
lot
well.
of gray.
Yeah.
On the second to last turn, I was pretty sure he had an uppercut in his hand.
Right.
Because why wouldn't he hold that all game, right? Yeah. And I knew he had the naval laser on top. I'm like, if I don't make him block, I'm definitely dead. If I make him block, maybe he bricks.
Right.
And sometimes just those are the odds you got to take.
Yeah, he drew so many cards on that last turn.
Yeah.
Between the draw one, squabble, draw one.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, I think I got to see one of those to force it to not be an attack, but the rest of them, yeah.
Rough. Man, congratulations on top 8.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Man.
What are your thoughts going on into the rest of the field, right?
I have not looked at the bracket past the top 8.
That's
right?
fair. That's fair. I mean, this is what we were playing for, right?
Yeah,
This is it. Confirmed Chris Smith is in.
All right,
Keenan
awesome.
Meadows is in.
Okay. Yeah, having Keenan playing against Ben is so, oh man.
Yeah.
That feels so bad to see.
Rough.
Yeah.
But what made you decide not to pick the Red Menace?
So I built a Kix Kirishima, right? I was working on it a little bit, and I played some test matches with it, and I just don't like the Earth symbol. I like Kamui,
Scandal.
sort of like the Earth's defense is to build a lot of foundations, and the Kix Kirishima is not really about that.
Right.
But its stats are so hard to ignore, right? This stuff is so fast.
Yeah.
But after playing some matches, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to play this optimally. I think I'm going to be trying too hard to make sure I can pass blocks and play too conservatively with it. So it's like, you know what? I'm going to play the Jiro deck. It's the only deck I'm on version 5 or 6 of. But it's the only thing I've like really been working on. Because we've tried a bunch of different decks a little bit, but you only have so much time to test, right?
Correct.
This was the one deck I had some time with, so
I love that. I love that. And it paid off.
Yeah.
And it paid off. You made the absolute correct call. I am so ecstatic. I am so proud.
Yeah.
It's real now, man.
Yeah.
Your entire year has been working and pushing to this one goal to just get the chance.
Yeah.
And you still get to keep going. There's still
we
three more
still,
rounds.
Yeah, we have a few more rounds.
Oh,
and then I'm in
man.
the standard. I'm in the sunset one.
You're in
I'm in the
standard.
sunset top 8.
Holy cow.
I've got a long day ahead of me.
This is Tim Keefe's weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
this is it.
I don't know about that. I'm sure I'll have to get through Akiri at some point here. We'll see how that goes.
Correct. With that said, man, I'm gonna get you out of here. Let you celebrate with the Rochester people. Any shout outs you want to give before we bounce?
Yeah, I mean, shout outs to Jose. He's obviously a fantastic player. We've played before. I lost to him before in the in the online regional. He debated me with a plus ultra block on an ice storm at the end. I was like, he's gonna have something. It's gonna happen to me again. He's actually gonna have 5 high blocks,
Right.
But it worked out this time. But yeah, he's obviously a great player, and shout outs to Rochester CCG, of course. All my local boys, sponsors wearing the jersey yesterday. I was a little cold, so I'm just in the sweatshirt today.
Sure.
But yeah, and they're right outside if you're here. Go say hi if you haven't yet, and see what they've got left. They've been doing pretty good this weekend. So.
Absolutely. With that, you guys, don't go anywhere. We're gonna give you updates as they are coming live to you on who else is in our top 8 bracket. Once again, man, I cannot say it enough.
Thank you.
Congratulations
Thanks.
in your spot. We will be right back.